What is up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with another Transformers third-party review. And today, the figure that I'm reviewing is actually one that I've been looking forward to for years now. Like 5 years I've been looking forward to this figure. This is the Transform and Rollout Commander of Stars. And I know that this figure has a bit of a reputation. But I'm here to tell you that my hot take is that this figure is actually really good, with the stipulation that you do need to put some work into it. And to get really quick into it, and the work is all super easy. What you need to do is, the hands that come out of the box, the fingers are prone to just exploding. They're all very fragile and brittle. All the places I know of are selling these with replacement hands included. So, or sorry, not the hands, just the fingers. The fingers all come in on little ball joints, and you just yoink them out and put the new ones in, and it all works out great. It's like a, like a 2-minute fix. He does have issues with his ratchets, and so you will need to take this apart. There's 2 screws right here, donk donk, and then this red part will separate out, and then the gray, the whole arm will just come off. There's a ratchet joint in there. It looks like a gear, and it's got a single screw that holds that gear on to like a little cylindrical boss that's got a flat machined onto it. So what's happening is that flat is not a large enough restraining device to keep the whole thing from working improperly, to keep it from spinning. And so what you should do is you should take that off, throw a little bit of cyanoacrylate super glue around it, put it back on, and then put the screw back on. Give it a few minutes to set, and then lubricate the collar that goes around that gear. And then you'll do the same for that one. And then if you pull off just this one screw here, you'll find another ratcheting gear, put some lubrication on those, and then you're done. It's honestly like you spend 15 minutes and you've solved most of the issues of this figure. I'm not saying that this is a perfect figure. It is not. There's some issues that I don't like about it. Most notably, I do not like how like the ratchets on his elbows work fine, but there's also like a fair amount of play in between the sections of the ratchet. I think that that's poor workmanship. I really don't like that, but it's not like a deal breaker for me. They hold all of their poses just fine. It's a little weird to play with. And then there's an issue with his backpack, or sorry, not his backpack, with the guns that fit on his legs. There's a structural thing that I don't like, and it's just a matter of preference. Like, that's not even anything functionally wrong with it. I mean, depending on who you ask. I think that it should have been done a different way, but it works fine the way it is now. It just doesn't do the things that I wanted it to do. But yeah, once you solve those few issues, the figure is actually really good, and it is gorgeous. This is a beautiful figure. I don't have him in his super mode yet, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. For comparison, I did want to bring in my old school. Wow, look at that! Look at that pair up right there. The Galaxy Force, well, this is the Cybertron version, but my first one was actually a Galaxy Force. I miss it. I miss it dearly because Well, it was almost exactly identical to this, with two main issues. One is these little lights were painted on the Galaxy Force version. They were painted yellow. And the wings for the super mode were pinned in place instead of just detented in place like the American release. So, but yeah, I dig this figure. Just a whole heap. And so I've been absolutely looking forward to this. Yeah, Make Toys announced one. Gosh, like, well, I guess it was about 5 years ago. They put a teaser for one out. And then Make Toys kind of got caught up doing Seekers and then fell into like Seeker hell for, you know, forever. I think they're finally starting to dig themselves out of it. But they better. They better. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If Make Toys makes a Galaxy Force Convoy, I'm buying that. I'm not selling this one, but I am buying that one. Can never have too many Galaxy Force Convoys around. But anyhow, let's talk about his accessories real quick. He comes with a weapons platform, which is like so. And you can take it and sit it down like so, and you can bring these out, and it will sit here at an angle and look rather silly, to be honest. But you can also come in here and grab this gun right here and put all the rest of this back into Oblivion or wherever it goes. This gun is, I mean, it's the same. It's all molded in gray plastic. It does have electronics in it. I don't have the batteries in the electronics. I'm not really much of an electronics guy. But you just pull this off and you throw in a little D-cell. It comes with... Oh, I don't have it on me at the moment. Let me go grab it. I was going to say it comes with a little magnet to make these run. There we go. And I'm not sure if this magnet... I mean, so this isn't made by Transform and Rollout. For one thing, they aren't silly enough to put an actual, like, mold in a copyrighted logo. I'm pretty certain that this was actually made by ShowZ or a company that they work with. And it's got a magnet on it, and so you would just take the magnet and touch it to here, and it would turn on the light and make it flash and stuff like that. But the shape and size of this is very much like the old Cyberplanet keys. In fact, I wonder if... Nope, it does not activate the fun stuff. No worries. But yeah, it does have this little wiggly bit, which wiggles for whatever reason. It didn't do anything in the show, it didn't do anything on the toy, but it wiggles here. And you just take, and there's a tab, and you put it onto the slot on his palm, press it into place, curl his fingers around it, and he holds his gun. As you do. But yeah. In terms of articulation, let's go over his articulation while he is not winged up. His head is on a swivel. It will swivel about just fine. I think it'll actually do a full swivel, but I'm not gonna push that. I've had instances where I've stripped out screws doing that. So his head will look up, but it's actually a transformation gimmick. Well, no, actually that hinge specifically isn't it? It's this one, isn't it? So his head will look up, but it does break the sculpt. So be aware of that. His shoulders are actually on like a, they're on like a little armature in here. There's a hinge, and there's a hinge. And so you can bring them, you know, out and in. You You can put them up, you can put them down, you can put them all around just to make it all look the way you want it to look. That will also facilitate if you want to put his arm out for the full tree pose. He does have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. There's a screw right here that affects the tightness of this upper ratchet on his elbow. You may need to adjust that slightly because when I pulled him out of the box, that upper ratchet just wouldn't go anywhere at all, and it was because that thing was just really tight. But that is just, I mean, like a quarter to half turn on the screwdriver, so we're not talking anything major at all. In terms of wrist swivel, he's got just like a little bit of swivel here, and it's this whole like cuff, and it only swivels a few degrees. I think they probably could have done a little bit better there. His thumb is on a ball joint, then with a hinge on there, and then each of his fingers is on a ball joint with a hinge joint and the hinge joint. So he can curl his fingers up quite a bit and get a decent looking fist out of them. He's got skirt armors on the front here. He's got skirt armors on the waist here. So you can move these out and about. That will allow his leg to go. Oh wait, I forgot to mention. He's got an ab crunch plus a waist swivel. And I'm just like, dang, I haven't seen a waist swivel. I haven't seen any kind of torso movement on a Galaxy Force convoy since the hybrid style Optimus. But anyhow, his leg will go that far forward. It'll go that far back before it's blocked by his solid metal butt plate. It'll go out for... There's enough motion there for the full Van Damme, but his stuff is getting in the way, so we'll not give it to him. He's got a swivel here at the upper thigh, double jointed knee. Fantastic. And then the bottom part of his toe here will move. And then you can move that toe there. Oh, in terms of accessories, I also forgot to mention, if you open up his chest, and you may need to go like so, and then go like so, and then pull this bad boy out. This is not die cast at all. And this also has got a little diode in it, so you tap it with this and it lights it up. But again, it takes some tiny ass little battery that I just don't feel like tracking down. Having a couple things intermittently light up just isn't worth it enough to me to want to do that. So, but anyhow, let's get him combined up into his super mode. So to do that, we want to take and disconnect. By the way, this is the thing that I was talking about that I have, the other thing that I have issues with is, I wonder if vehicle mode is the best time to talk about this. They made these wrong. They made these guns wrong. They're supposed to sit here and then pivot out. I'll show you. They're supposed to pivot out like so that you can have it in vehicle mode and deploy it so that these will point past the cab. That's the proper way to do it. And This one doesn't do that. They only tilt in, and there's no way, like these are just pegged on with these little, you know, tabs. And I mean, you can plug them into the other tabs if you want to, but they won't fit because this little heel structure will collide with that there, and they just won't fit. So it only fits in this way, and then when it's in that way, they don't do one of the things that they're supposed to do, and I'm a little bit bummed about that. But, you know, of all of the modes that I put my Galaxy Force Optimus into, the weaponized flying truck mode is the least used mode, so I guess I can forgive them at least a little bit. So we want to take this and disconnect this. By the way, look at how, like, sleek and, like, the proportions are so good. I mean, I like the proportions of this guy, but they are even more heroic on this one. Just, you know, just, it's all sleek and integrated, and, like, it sits here and doesn't, it doesn't turn all big and chunky. Like when you pull this foot out, it makes a hollow here on the back of his leg, and then this just comes in and fills that hollow. So even when you put him into a super mode, you're not making his legs like massively bulky. God forbid anybody hears me even slightly talking shit about my favorite Optimus figure. But like the legs are very chunky. And when you flip this around and put on his, oh, that's the wrong leg. There it is. When you flip this around and put on this other guy, like that, like triples the size of his leg. And I mean, as a guy who was raised on shit like Mega Man, you know, who traditionally has scrawny thighs and just massive calves, you know, like, this aesthetic does not bother. This aesthetic does not bother me. And I want to come straight out and say that loud and clear. But this aesthetic really appeals to me. So he gets his platform shoes on, and then what you want to do is you want to take and grab these and slide them out like so. And then for his wings, you want to push up and come out. There's a tab right here that hooks into a slot on the central, so you need to push up and out when you're bringing that out. And then you can see a tab there that makes it so that you can only turn the wing this way. And then we'll angle those up and do the same with this one. Angle that up. And then you want to fold this out, fold this out, fold that out, fold that out. And then you want to bring this, and it just kind of moves right over. And then these tabs on the back that the foot sections went into, they just whack into these hollow spaces right here, which is a nice, efficient use of the hollow engineering spaces. I like that. And now what you're going to do is you're going to kind of bring up on this a little bit and then push this in. Push that arm in all the way. And then there's a tab that's on the front. You'll see this tab is there as well. And that'll go into a slot on this black part. And then there's also a tab on top of the shoulder that'll fit in. You'll see it over on this side here. tab and slot right under my finger. And so that will kind of go in when the front slot goes into place. And there he is in his super mode, and it's huge, it's massive, it's gorgeous. I tell people that this is easily one of the most beautiful figures that I own. Oh wait, I forgot to do a thing on his face. You want to raise up his face like so. Rotate this like that. Bring this down. There's his faceplate, and then flip out his ears. But yeah, I tell people that this is one of the most gorgeous figures I own, and I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not lying. I honestly, I love this thing. It is, even if you decide not to put any work into it whatsoever, you can throw this into robot mode just like this, and it has got just like a stupid amount of shelf presence. Like, this is an astounding looking prime, and it will stick out on your shelf even if you've got other large, flashy looking ostentatious primes like the God Ginrai, for instance. So this is a gorgeous figure. I love it a whole lot. Let me put that up just a little bit more. Options. I love the options. Here he is with the super mode of the other guy. And as you can see, like, this guy, he nails the masterpiece scale pretty well. Like, I used to feel like this figure was basically a masterpiece out of the box. And I guess I don't anymore. I see lots of things that they could have improved or whatnot. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of felt that to a certain degree earlier. If anybody here has had the hybrid style Optimus Prime, that's basically a masterpiece Prime, but like legend scale. One of the early legend scale masterpiece figures that I own. I'd bring that out for comparison, but over the years I've misplaced some pieces, and I feel really bad about that, because there's no way I can replace them now, because that thing costs like $600 to buy one in this day and age. So yeah. In terms of articulation, most everything is the same. Like, his arms are the same, his legs are the same, his ankles still have these ankle tilts on them. You do now have these guns which pop out, and you can angle them out as well. They are painted on both sides. Oh, I love that so much. His guns, let's get him turned around to face the back. I do like, by the way, that he's got show accurate details like this. These things, I don't know what they are. They kind of look like missile launchers to me, but of course they never launched missiles in the show, not that I know of at least. But that's a show accurate detail. You'll note, due to the way this figure transforms, you cannot fold one or both of the arms back and tuck them in behind the backpack. So there will be no Leo Breaker upgrade for this. And I don't think that they had any plans for an upgrade or anything. And to be perfectly honest, enough people have kind of eviscerated Transform and Rollout because of the QC on this figure that I don't know if they're ever going to release another figure, to be honest. I think that most people consider this figure to be a flop. And, oh, guys, 15 minutes will make this figure just fantastic. 15 minutes of work, that's it. But anyhow, so these will come out, and then you can flip them up. You can rotate them. Let me angle this up a bit. This is all going to be awkward to do. Let me change my lighting just a bit. So you can bring these up, you can rotate them around, so you can bring them up and over like that, so they can point over the wings. You can bring them down and extend out these ratcheted armatures. That's the way I like to do it. That wing is getting in the way a little bit, isn't it? Oh, let's fold that up. Each of these has got a handle that flips out, and then this handle can slide back and forth. The handle, by the way, is a show accurate detail that the hybrid style figure has, but the leader class figure does not. So you can bring this up, slide it till it intersects with this hand well, and then just kind of do the same thing. There is a tab here. I found it to be kind of a bitch to slot in, but we will slot it in just for demonstration purposes. I'm gonna have to do it blind because the slot is on the other side of his hand and I am on this side of his hand. There we go. Curl his fingers around. He'll just have like his... There we go. And then let's aim this in a functional direction. And on this side here, you can flip out these little guys here. There's no missile launchers, which is fine because I tend to hate missiles anyhow. But he'll hold that just fine. On the other one, the only action feature is, of course, it has the flip out handle as well. And you can open up these guys like so. This also has got lights on it. You put in some battery and then you tap the magnet on it and it will light this up. I kind of feel like, and this isn't show accurate, but I kind of feel like instead of opening like so, if it had kind of like slid open and then retracted a little bit, like that, that would have been cool. That would have been cool, but of course that wasn't show accurate, so I can't criticize them for not doing it. But yes, just gorgeous. Ah, love it so much. Let me get him. Let's get him transformed up into his vehicle mode. I had been debating how exactly I want to do like super mode style figures, and I think that robot mode to super mode to vehicle mode probably is going to be the way to go. So that's probably how I'm going to do stuff like that from here on out. So we're going to detach those and then carefully pull out these his shoulders. These black parts are some sort of, I think that's POM. I think that's polyoxylmethylene, methyl something. So it's a semi-flexible plastic. I don't have any fears of it breaking or anything like that. Then these just fold up, fold in, fold up, fold in. This will rotate around, straighten that back out, and then do the same here. Rotate this around. Collapse that back in. Again, you've got this tab here that's going to fit into this slot here. So bring that in and then kind of just hike that into that spot. Super easy. We're just going to take and yank these straight off. And then these will just straighten out like so. They do not tab together. There's no mating features along here. That's all just screw holes. So they will just go in the wrong way, of course. like that, and like that. And I'm just going to throw that off to the side for now. While you've got it, you can take and fold his ears back. You can open this up, fold his head in. You want to close up his fists into the standard fist block mode, is what I call it. But you want to make sure that your fingers aren't super tight. You don't want to curl them super tight. You want to curl them kind of loosely. If you curl them super tight, they actually will obstruct the fist block just a bit. But you want to get into a nice square block like so, and then fold that in. And then close this guy back up on that. We'll do the same here. You can see this one is folded up super tight, and he doesn't have like a squarish to that. So we're going to uncurl this just a smidge. Curl them back up. Put the fist underneath, open up this little panel here, here. Fold the fist in. Close that up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and rotate that like so. Bring this up and in, and then this is going to come in, and there's a tab right here on his arm. There's a sympathetic slot in that cab section there. And so that's just going to go like that, and then you're just going to fold this, whoops, make sure that covers up his face. Fold this back like so. And let's do that with the other side real quick. So straighten his arm out, rotate it in, bring it back, double joint that down, make sure it gets pushed in. And then bring this out. You can tab these fronts of the cab together and these arms together. And then you just kind of push this in a little bit. It will push out these windows slightly, which makes them easier to grab and slide out to the sides like so. These are going to come around. Oh, I may have wanted to do that earlier. Nope, this is fine. There's a tab here. Oh, my autofocus is not working today. There's a tab there and a tab there. That's just going to plug into that. And we'll do the same for the other side. Keep in mind there is a panel here that when you're in robot mode kind of folds in, and just to kind of smooth out the profile of the figure. So for this, what you want to do is you want to pull down his crotch plate like so. You're going to poke him in the chest right here, and that's going to fold that up. So you want to keep this part closed and fold this all the way up. And then all you got to do at this point is you've got a tab and a slot here. Bring this out. And these ones, they've got tabs here and corresponding slots under here. So you can't go wrong with them. Tab them together. You want to push these wheels down a click. And then this is just going to go like so. And then angle this down so that we can take a closer look at him. We're going to take these guys here, fold them down, and then take this guy here. And what's going to happen is these tabs here are going to plug into these sections here on his shins. These little dual tabs are going to clamp onto these little silver spots on his shin. By the way, I forgot to mention, all the silver you see on him is die cast. So he's got die cast in his hips, die cast on his dick plate, die cast in his knees, die cast on his knees. These shin blocks here are die cast. These toes are die cast. And then he also has die cast in his elbows. So a fair amount of die cast on this. So what we're going to do, like I mentioned, the single tabs are going to go into the single slot here. The dual tabs are going to go into the dual slot here. And then you got these two tabs here on the back. Those are going to fit into these slots here on the toes. And you kind of want to put those, not necessarily to send them home, but to kind of line them up first. And then once you get those lined up, everything else will just basically fall into place. Make sure this is closed up. And there you have the Commander of Stars in his vehicle mode. And what a stunning vehicle mode it is. Just picture perfect. I do kind of wish that there was some way to secure the wings to the legs. Because A of all, that would have prevented these from sticking out a little bit, as they seem to be somewhat prone to do. And B of all, it would have prevented this kind of wiggle. So, yeah, if there's some way that they could have, I don't know, had like a fold out, I'm not sure exactly. Maybe have something built into the thigh that flipped out and tabbed into the wings. Or something in the wings that flipped out and tabbed into the legs. I don't know. But just phenomenal looking. Oh, I'm sorry that my auto focus is on the fritz. What happened is I poked my phone, and when it pokes the phone, it wherever you tap, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to autocorrect and autofocus to that spot, but then it no longer autofocuses as your thing changes around. For comparison, here he is with the old Optimus Prime, which, I mean, it's aged well for a 18-year-old vehicle or figure. Like, I still find this to be a very nice figure, but it is not the same as this brand spanking new, gorgeous looking, wonderful proportions figure. You can, like I've mentioned, you can do the silly flying truck mode to an extent. You just bring this out again, lift up on that tab, so you don't break anything. This will rotate like so, and then you will rotate it at this joint right here. And does it look good? No, it looks worse. It looks way worse than the original. The wingspan is impressive, which I can't get it all in here because of space considerations, but there's no way to fold this over on itself, and so there's no way to line this up without zigzagging this, and now it just looks dumb. Silly. Oh. Yeah, that's another thing that I should probably bring up, is that the tabbage on that is not super rigid. So this is not, even if you put it into his flight truck mode, it is not swoosh worthy. So I don't know what it would do if you put it into the swoosh truck mode, into the flight truck mode. It doesn't do anything because you can't swoosh it. Get that tab lined up. Come on, tab. Don't you want to go to your home? But yeah, all in all, I really do feel that this is a fantastic figure. I picked this up from ShowZ. I picked this up. I had this figure on pre-order forever. And so when they came in, I was one of the first orders that they filled. And so they shipped it out before they actually got the replacement figures. So I had to wait like an extra month to get the replacement figures in. But ShowZ did everything that they were supposed to do, and I felt that it was quite an enjoyable experience overall. Yeah, well, he didn't have his fingers. I didn't do anything with his fingers. I just had it in robot mode, and I stuck it up on my shelf. And I mean, I looked at this thing every day while I was waiting for the fingers to come in. And then when they came in, I replaced the fingers, and then I oiled the ratchets and glued the ratchets on the shoulders, just to get everything working well. But yeah, I didn't do any partial work on it until the fingers came in. But yeah, it was still a gorgeous shelf piece up to that point. And then since I got the fingures in about a week and a half ago, I've played with this figure every day. And like, this is not a fragile figure. It's not, you know, so long as you take that preventive maintenance when you first get it, it's not going to break on you. It's not a bad figure. It's actually really well made for the most part. Like I did have the issues with this little hinge being on the wrong side, and then the elbow ratchets being wiggly. But like, other than that, the figure's pretty much amazing. So that's my review. I think ShowZ still has them in stock as of today, which is almost mid-June. So, but yeah, everybody. I love this figure so much. But that's all I've got to say about this. Everybody, thanks for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya.